Hey, did you just pick up one of these, the IP608 Smart Diagnostic Systems from Xtool? Come along, I'm going to show you how to use it. Okay, so this is just going to be a quick review of the IP608, Xtool. I just want to go through the menu functions and what's available. In a couple different series, I'm going to put together some parts that are kind of go through functional testing, some live data, how it looks, graphing, all those different things. But right now, just want to go through some of the menus to show you what it looks like. So, we've got a bunch of different things here. We've got our special function, which it's an amazing amount of number of special functions, and they just keep adding to it. And you get these free updates so far that I've been able to see anyway. As we scroll through this again, just want everybody to get a chance to see what's happening here with our menus and what we have available to us. So if any of these things are important to you, that's what it looks like. So the next is, our reporting function. So this is, we capture live data, we capture some data screenshots. If we've captured some screenshots, we throw it in the file manager, and some data playback. So if we want to look at some oxygen sensor values, fuel trims, things like that, it's all in here. And just here's an example. I'll just grab, one of the recent reports. This happens to be on a Ford Escape. And this is just showing some screenshot data. Again, not important. I'm going to go through this in greater detail in some later videos, but just want to show you this. But what's really cool is you can share this report by email, or you can print it. And it actually prints out really well, nice, clean, concise look to it. So you can share it with a mechanic if you choose. So I'm not going to go into the data playback for now. We'll do that another time. But now we come back here. We have a remote control function, which I believe, I was trying to set it up. It was a little wonky for me, but I think you can control this device from another device, but that's just my guess. I don't know. I got to read more about it. I don't know if that's important for most folks. Obviously, we've got the auto scan, and then we've got diagnostic, which we'll get to in a second. We have our updates, again, free updates for a lifetime with this tool, and then our global settings for the device. So, user language and, measurement scaling, kilometers versus miles per hour. And then more is basically, that's going to be our user manual. So for now, we'll just dive into the diagnostics. So you can see we've got a variety of different models, makes and models, by country as well. So we can go to China, and we're going to see a list here. We can go through Europe. I'm not going to go crazy with all this, but we've got America, we've got Asia. My pen's acting up a little bit. We've got Australia, and then we actually have some electric vehicles in here too, which this is the first scan tool I've seen to have that at this price point. But we're going to head back. I'm going to go to our American vehicles here. This here is going to do your basically state inspection readiness, your OB2 diagnostics. I'm not going to jump into it now because we're not hooked up to a vehicle, so it's not going to work all that great. What I am going to do is I'm going to use the demo, and it's really cool because this demo function gives you the ability to run through some testing to see what it would be like if I was doing testing on a vehicle without damaging a vehicle. So this just happens to be BMW that we're going to choose. And there's an automatic scan, there's a system selection, quick read of error codes, and a quick clear of the codes. So we'll do a quick auto scan just so you can see. And it does do it pretty quickly, even though this is a demo. I've noticed with different cars, depending on the CAN bus speed, it's really, really quick. You'll notice that if there are some failures, it's going to highlight it in the list, which is what we see here. So if I click on this, any one of these, and I just hit the drop down, I'm going to see the error codes listed. And then I can start to dive into each one of the modules, do some troubleshooting if we need to. We can also, if we choose, go to the diagnostics, and it sends us to that specific module where the failure resides. And at this point, you got a bunch of different options here. We can read our trouble codes that are associated, and we do have a couple. If you click on this magnifying glass, I'm not going to do it this second, this will take you onto your web browser and give you some recommendations based on what other folks have found for your problem. I think that's another valuable tool that's kind of implemented or integrated into this tool, if you will. So a couple things that jump out for me. We have a live data function and an actuation test. So live data is just what it implies. We can go into any one of the specific categories within that module or that computer. So we'll just pick sensor values for now. We'll click on it, and what you're going to get is some real-time values in here. You can click on each one of these. You can display them in a custom format, or you can display all like I have here. There's a graphic interface, so now I can actually see the chart and how it plots. But again, I'll do this in a later video with a little bit more detail. We're going to just back up just a second. We're going to come into our actuation tests. So I think, when Xtool put this on the website, I think they could have done a better job. Not saying it was a bad job of describing what this tool can do. It actually can do activation tests. For me, it's a little confusing when I hear bidirectional in actuation. So when I think of bidirectional, you can communicate with the vehicle, you can perform certain actions, but I guess their terminology is actuation is just sending signals out to test a component, which is what this function does. So if I look at just the blower motor function, and some of you out there who are automotive mechanics are probably chuckling saying, dude, this is the difference between these two. I'm a DIYer, so I'm trying to figure this out as I go. But what you can see right now is that the blower is set at 80%, and when we want to fire it up, we can basically come to our continue button, which will trigger it, and it'll fire that fan up so that we can hear it. And when the test is complete, it's going to tell you that. Then we can just simply back up. And there are a myriad of different actuation tests in here, as well as all of the other different modules that are implemented into this tool. So far for me, it's been a really, really great tool. I'm just kind of scanning through this. Hopefully this gives you some insight into just the general functionality of the tool. But like I said, I'm going to throw some videos out there that are much more detailed, go into some of the activation testing, and then we'll do some real work on, apply it to an actual vehicle, and we'll see how it works. Maybe we'll turn on some direction lamps, test some fuel injectors, maybe even look at the air conditioning pressure within the car. So again, stay tuned for that, and we'll see what happens in the future.